Well, one more game here for the Pinnacle Cup II at the main Swiss stage. One team will move forward and one more team must go home, joining Entropic through to the playoff stage. These two sides have got everything going for them. They've got to make it happen. Fiend and MIBR. One team, well, they're going to find themselves in the top 8. The other lot, well, goodbye, we wish you farewell. And they are out of the Pinnacle Cup.
Yeah, again, our final elimination match. There's one more team that's going to be slotted here into playoffs. It's either going to be MIBR or Fiend up on your screen. And there's definitely some contests to be made here. A very weird set of affairs we have here. But MIBR looking to put a bright spot on their European campaign over in, well, here in Europe, of course. We have our usual cast of members, a newly acquired, of course, from the former Boom Esports lineup, that being Cello, Yell, SHZ, Bolt, and Exit with the coach of Apaka. And I will say, their European campaign so far has been very rough. I will say it. But their one bright spot is that they have a 2-2 record here in the Swiss stage, and then looking to cap off one more win and make playoffs. And that could definitely be a little bit of a plus on the tail end of their little, I guess, expedition here across the Atlantic.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how MIBR do, but at the same time, you're coming against a team like Fiend, and we know what this team is capable of doing. Back in the day, Voivoda, they were looking really good, and as well as that, Mbappe Peak got invited to a couple of the Spring Sweet Spring and Snow Sweet Snow events, which actually proved themselves to be quite a valuable side. And as well as that, you've got individuals here, again, I feel like on an individual level, do really, really well, and as a team in general, I think you've got to be careful for this side as well. Excited to see the future of this roster and you know, to sort of see the transition. They have been together for a little while. My question is, you know, can this persist? Can we see a Fiend that's like, okay, wow, this is the Fiend I expected to see? Because right now, I mean, yeah, they are on you know, on the rise, but there's been a lot of losses recently, you know, losing 2-1 to 777, losing to Complexity, losing to Skade, losing to Sinners, Harvu as well, a T that they've lost to. I think that there's a lot of improvement to be done, but again, we know what this side is capable of. It's just about what side we see today.
Yeah, they seem to have hit a little bit of a rough patch, well, they are the favorites to win this match. I'm sure MIBR are looking to give them a run for their money, looking to lock horns, and we have the veto to describe. And I will say, this is a very interesting one. We see the typical perma bans coming in from MIBR and a ban on Vertigo, but this is the interesting one. MIBR picking Mirage, which historically is Fiend's best map. While Fiend have showed a little bit of weakness on this, I believe at one point Fiend actually had a 100% win rate on this map at some point in time, back a couple months back. But they're picking it into Fiend, which is definitely some confidence being shown from the MIBR side. Fiend picking up Inferno, and we veto down to our decider of Overpass. But I really want to hone in on that Mirage pick by MIBR. It's been their bright spot here in Europe, but picking it against a team like Fiend is definitely a risk.
Yeah, and funny you should say that. You were saying the 100% streak. Fiend actually won 11 games in a row at the start of being Fiend in general, which is where that 100% win rate was. They lost to NASA, and then they won another 8 in a row. So out of, what, 20 games of Counter-Strike that they played on Mirage, they've lost once. And admittedly, it has sort of dwindled recently, but the losses have been to very good sides. OG, Entropic, Complexity, and Skade, and then Sinners and Harvu. So there's swings and roundabouts to this whole pick, I think. MIBR seem a bit comfortable in this situation to pick this map. Whether they got something planned or not, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think you make a very valid point. Is that the teams that Fiend have been losing to on the MIBR pick of Mirage is the teams that you would expect them to lose against. And MIBR don't match the sort of the same power, I would argue, to the likes of, you know, right now, Lingby Vikings, Copenhagen Flames, Harvu and Sinners, which is all teams in recent times that they've lost to. So I think that this really is an interesting one. I don't disagree with the MIBR pick of Mirage. I just hope to God that they have something planned, because we know how good Fiend are on it. And then we look to a map like Inferno, where, again, for Fiend, I wouldn't say it's their strongest map by any standard. I mean, in recent times, they've lost a fair few games. They've lost to Endpoint, but then they beat Endpoint straight after. They've lost to Young Ninjas and Sinners on this map again in Pinnacle Cup II. But they've beaten your likes of your Skades, your Fours, your Lemon Dogs, your Carontes, teams that necessarily, I would say, in the same sort of circuit as MIBR, which again, I think is really indicative of like where we stand in this matchup.
Yeah, Inferno also, I mean, it's just a punish pick. onto MIBR. I mean, even in history, it's funny, the brand of MIBR has never been great on Inferno, and here in Europe, it's only been losses for their side. Admittedly, a couple of close ones. There was a very hotly contested overtime affair versus Team Spirit back in the IM Cologne play-in. I think a lot of people remember that. In fact, MIBR had many chances to win that series, or win that map, win that best of one, but they eventually faltered out of it. But the rest of their time here in Europe, it hasn't been very close. A 16-9 loss to the Young Ninjas isn't necessarily a bright spot on your record on a map like Inferno, so they need to win their map pick here if MIBR want to really, really have a chance in this series. Again, I told you before this, it's either an MIBR 2-1 or a Fiend 2-0. That's that.
I'm going with the Fiend 2-0. I think that this matchup really, really favours them. And I was looking into the Mirage of MIBR just a second ago. I mean, I wasn't, as you could probably tell, none of us were prepared for this Mirage pick for MIBR, right? I did all my thought process to the Fiend side. I was like, Mirage is their map, their chance. Look, they've lost to Young Ninjas, which is in a 31-29 fashion. So that's been a fairly tough game for them. But they've lost to Furia, they've lost to Lingby Vikings, they've lost to Mousesport 16-4. But then again, they have beaten NIP on this map. They've beaten Harvu on this map. So I guess we can kind of see what MIBR are thinking in this matchup in terms of like, okay, you know what? We have had some very decent wins on it. But at the same time, where the wins have come, the losses have well and truly come as well. And for picking it into Fiend, I think you've got to really bring your A game into this matchup. And as well as that overpass our decider, another factor that I wanted to bring up for you is that, again, for both sides, I feel like it's not the greatest of experience. Maybe for Fiend more so. They have played a fair few games on it, but it has been a bit more wobbly. MIBR have played it 5 times. So even if we go to a third map, this is their only 6th recorded map on HLTV for it in the last 3 months. They've beaten Endpoint, they've beaten Haven Limity, and they've beaten Furious. 2 of the teams I wouldn't particularly put my money on out there as such anyway. But they've lost to NIP, and then they've also lost to Iberian Family on this map, which is again another decent team, which is in their circuit, which I would argue as well as that should be beaten by Fiend. So I mean, like. If we want to do this whole like comparison thing, I think that definitely right now MIBR are looking second best to Fiend.
Yeah, I think that's just simply what's on paper. The odds speak to it as well. Down over at Pinnacle, of course, and really looking at this, I mean, there are a couple of win conditions necessary for MIBR. Right now, I don't think Cello has had the greatest expedition here in Europe. He was dominating over in Brazil, but he hasn't found that same impact, the same entry fracking capabilities, and he's going to need to do so against a team like Fiend. But I do feel like the pick of Mirage does suggest that MIBR know what they're doing going into this pick. I might just eat my words immediately off of this, and Fiend could just come out swinging. But maybe Apoca did something behind the scenes. Of course, they've had a little bit of time to prepare. There's been the off time between Cologne and this event. So maybe they've come up with something to deal with Fiend on this map. I think that is definitely a warranted opinion. I'm not sure what you think about that.
No, I think it's really interesting to see that we have this sort of map veto, and I think your point's very valid, is that in this situation, you know, we've got to see something from MIBR on this map pick of Mirage. I think that's the easiest way of putting it. I think you can't exactly ask for them to go ahead and clean sweep with the way they usually play. Again, there's no disrespect to them, but I just don't see them beating a side like Fiend. And right now, I mean, looking at the odds, there's no doubt about it where we talk about, okay, it's looking very much like the game goes in favor of Fiend instead of MIBR. So right now, odds very much in favor of the Fiend side. I think that in this situation as well, we've got to consider a couple of things, right? Is that if MIBR come out swinging on Mirage, do we see that lasting through the series, like through the maps? Even in the first map at that, you know, do we see them progressing as a team in that map and continuing the same sort of fire they're going to bring to the first couple of rounds? I think it's all about momentum and just trying to find something, and for their sake, I hope they do. I hope they make this map pick seem interesting and prove ourselves wrong by. But I really, right now, just don't see a way back into this.
Yeah, I always like giving a team a chance, though. So, MIBR going to take a map? Let's do it on Mirage. How about it? As we will be sending it to, I believe we're getting into game. Hopefully. And indeed we are. Finally, without delay, we're back into it. Finally, the pistol round. And you can see the odds up on your screen, heavily favoring Fiend to start. MIBR looking to change that, though, with a good start here on Mirage. We're off to the races, Retro. Let's get this one underway. Final match and final series here for the Swiss stage of the Pinnacle Cup. One of these two teams go to playoffs, the other doesn't. Simple as that. Let's get it done. Out towards middle for MIBR.
Ooh, gets dinged. Cheeky. SHZ was looking for the shot with a P250. Can't quite connect just yet. And again, Fiend taking their time. Triple stack towards connector. That's a 4-man stack towards A, more or less. I know that's a bit of a stretch, but, I mean, you look at the players right now, you look at the positioning. I mean, yeah, if anyone comes up connector, they are going to die, but at the same time, where you want to pull the trigger on this A play, you know, you've got the rotates to happen. Red Star goes aggressive. Surprise, there's a player close to you. Dreamer finds one. Red Star a second. And now the connector players rotate back towards A. Assist in the help of Victor, who might not even need it at this point. He does need it because Bubble sweeps up 2. Bolts in a 1-on-5. Good for 1. Dinks a second. But again, nothing too much found. Fiend, they find the first round.
And that's tragic. That's a tragic start here to the pick of Mirage. MIBR missed their connector smoke. The smoke that's supposed to isolate all those players inside of Con. It misses. It lands on top of the rooftops. And it allows just free fire from all of the Fiend players. No issue in taking those duels. And they're back in. I mean, this is just a great start already. Nigh on flawless pistol round from Fiend. And it's only Deagles to speak of for MIBR. But only Deagles might just be a bit of an understatement when we're talking about MIBR.
Let's see. As you mentioned, can't count them out of it just yet. But with this disadvantageous buy, got to be careful. Bubble finds the first with a FAMAS. A good first kill. Drops the smoke as well into the connector play, which, you know, gives Han the opportunity to peek mid should he want to. But on top of that, it just gives them cover. Space. Ooh. But as I say that, Exit rattles off a shot connecting to Bubble, and it is going to be the traded kill. That grenade, really, really nice. Substantial damage done. Exit down to 21 points of health now. And again, I'm just wondering, you know, what's going to go on? What's happening in this round? Where do MIBR want to face? Because you've got one player low HP, you're in a 4v4, but 3 smokes and a flashbang? I think you've got to probably pull the pin on the A play. You know, come up connector, throw the smoke CT, you know, get one in towards jungle as well. Great grenade, and as well as that, Fiend's just totaling up the HP advantages.
Dreamer, though, could find that. Spots the barrel, and Harn takes down Yell. Simple stuff here. The bomb is just out in the middle of the open. Easy does it here for these Fiend players. Bulgarian side can easily sweep aside the pistols and walk them out into the ocean. See you later. Red Star will do it in with the FAMAS. That was the 5 FAMAS buy for Fiend, so they actually get to hold on to a couple of their rifles. And for MIBR, they have to go down to the eco. I'd like to see a couple of MP9s bought on in. Maybe at least one to try and get a little bit of farm going. There you go. That's for Harn. I'm expecting him to play aggressively as well. Wants to farm up some money, get that op in hand out early in these upcoming gun rounds and start dealing some damage with it. MIBR not quite on the right footing to start off here on Mirage. They're going to need to get to grips with it, though, very shortly. This might not be the round to do it, but the upcoming one to be sure. What it is, though, is to limit the economy of Fiend. That's the goal here for MIBR. That's why a couple of Deagles have been brought into play to be utilized. And Yell running out towards top middle, but will get quelled by Harn. 4-on-5 here. And, well, damage yet to be done. But let's see what they got. Creeping up towards the B apartments. Not out of the realms of possibility.
Let's see. Again. 5v4. Red Star, going aggressive-ish. Well, does find some damage, but again, these Deagles punch holes right through the B defense. Straight out they go. I mean, at least a couple of players delaying the push. I wouldn't exactly know why, but at the end of the day, Bob set down. Han needs to find this kill. Does get dinks. Now converted as 3v3, but that creates good passageway towards short. So although there's a trade, there needs to be a standalone player, and a great shot from Exit might just facilitate that.
Yeah, this could be doable, but these players are armorless. They can easily be drawn back, and Bubble will deal the damage. Now a 2-on-2. Smoke onto the bomb. Bubble has the kit, so he can go in for the defuse, but he gets the frag instead. Now leaving SHZ to try and hold the line, spamming the smoke, but the angle's not good enough, and Victor is better. 3-0 for Fiend. Made it doable, and again, they accomplished all their goals in that round, except for winning it. So, all things considered, a solid round from MIBR. But we go into round number 4. They need to get the dub here.
100%. MIBR needs to come up with all guns blazing. But, I mean, look, the consistent damage done is a good thing, right? The money goes down, but the problem is now, in this situation, little to no weaponry has been saved. So, the buy for Fiend basically matches that of MIBR. In fact, we have an AWP on Han, which is even more than what, you know, MIBR could bring forward to this round. Does take an extensive amount of damage from the molly on the get-go. Smoke going to be there to try and pull the mid play across a bit more, but at the end of the day, you know, Fiend, they look very confident out of the gates, and with this AWP, I don't blame them whatsoever.
And Harn will get the opener from CT spawn. You can just work these long-range angles, and Harn has been such a great addition to the Fiend lineup, I should mention. He's replacing Mar. Normally, Red Star was a man using the AWP, but Harn has been so very good. Well, he's been instrumental to Fiend's success. I think every player from Fiend can step up to the plate as well. I mean, we've seen it from every single player. Have big moments. So Harn having his first kill in the round. It's not all said and done, though. Again, MIBR can still work the map control and still launch an attack on the site. Especially so when Bubble gives himself up. Now, the site execute is on, the split is in play, but Harn has dropped bolts, and the bomb has been dropped by Dreamer. Now in the 2-on-3, trying to draw things back. Cello will do it, and Yell catches the re-aggression from Fiend. Well done from MIBR, a bit of a read, but Harn has the watchful eye over the bomb, but he cannot split the difference between those two players. And that's the first gun round for MIBR.
Yeah, that needed to be Fiends and an early timeout called. I'm not against it. I think that in this situation it's a good idea to sort of reset, recoup ideas, what have you. But at the same time, if you're Fiend, you've got to be winning those those rounds, you know? Like, in those situations, maybe Han, you can't exactly blame in the 1v2, you know? You're not expected to win those, but definitely given the right chance. The bomb was out in the open. Fiend had plenty of chance, plenty of opportunity. I'm now just sort of interested to see what is going to happen in the future. You know, are we going to see a very strong out the gates round again from Fiend? Are we going to see the rebound buy? Or are we going to see more of a delayed response where they're more than happy to take the ecos or try and pressure out a bit of damage to then in the later stages go, hello, you know, we're ready to fight now. This is our time.
Right. Now with this round in play, MIBR need to put some more rounds together. That is necessary. Money at a breaking point for Fiend, but Harn is placed back on the AWP. Again, scattered weapons across the board, but holding a long-range angle, sees a player go down into the underpass. So that information is there. SHZ, little does he know, he has been spotted, but Fiend are not going to act on it. Look at the positioning. They're just playing the bomb sites in the extremities of the map. They're giving up middle to MIBR and putting this round down to a bomb site hole. But this could get very dangerous. Leg spotted, though, of SHZ. And, oh, he takes the shot. Can't quite weave it in the gap, though. And SHZ will only take a tag for his troubles. Steal a 5-on-5. But MIBR are gearing up for the mid-split.
A tag of substantial damage, and Dreamer's found the first kill. It's gone from bad to worse here for the side of MIBR. Victor a second, and again, no response. MIBR playing very, very split up right now, which I can kind of understand, you know, trying to establish that control, playing more towards a default, but at the same time, you can't keep just going for these sorts of plays. You have to have some cohesion, some sort of game plan sticking together, and with those two kills found individually, you can see the problem is now you've got a 5v3, no trades, no rotates, no nothing, and the default's crumbled, and that's exactly where Fiend will pick you apart. 30 seconds to go out towards A. SHC good for one, but it is 4 survivors. All in all, a very good round from Fiend.
Yeah, they put all the players in the right positions to deal with it. Harn solo at the B site has no problem dealing with the cat split. And it seems like Fiend had a good touch and a good feel on what MIBR were going to throw at them in that 3 versus 5. Harn was fully tunneled towards Catwalk, so he knew something we didn't. MIBR calling a timeout. It'll give us a chance. I wonder what those Pinnacle odds are looking like. And if you are wondering, you can head over to pinnacle.com/odds, and new registrants, if you bet 10 euros, you get 10 euros. Of course, restriction applies, and must be 18 years or older to participate, of course. But all things being considered, MIBR on the ropes yet again. They did win the gun round. I'm actually keen on seeing what their finances are currently looking like, see what they can bring into this type of round. If they can keep this one interesting or not. That's the question. So we still are waiting to get things into game. See what they come up with off the back of the timeout, and sort of flip the script on this game of Mirage. This is their pick, and I must say it is a must-win for MIBR. This one, they'll take in a little bit of a half buy and gear up for a B rush. But ooh, Red Star gets boosted up. He's looking to fight.
Oh, Red Star, nice bubble. A second kill. Cello has traded, but at the end of the day, a 4-on-3, a molly goes deep, and there's no availability to pick up the rifles. So Fiend more or less have only lost the extra man. They haven't really lost the rifle with it, which is something MIBR would have been very interested in picking up. Smoke goes in towards deep short, and a flashbang over the top, probably just to try and keep a hold of this, try and, you know, force these B players to stay at B while MIBR rotate. But the problem is they pulled the trigger on this sort of fake ploy and then not really pushed off the back of it. You can see, right, that the penny's starting to drop. If they're not pushing when the smokes are down and they're on an eco, like, what are they doing? Obviously, they're not going to be towards B unless if they're waiting for this smoke to fade, in which they just, you know, throw a bit of utility and they play a lot more passive towards B. Instead of holding the car position, you've got a player on pillar and a player on backside. Quicker for the rotates, ready to support towards A. Don't want to give up that control, but it most certainly is there. 45 seconds and the MIBR side look towards A.
They do have a couple of smokes that deploys. Where's the molly going to go? But Bolt's walking out. Oh, that's not even a question. Doesn't necessarily matter at this rate because the crossfires are being held. Cello has to somehow entry with the Deeg versus an AWP and multiple rifles that are closing in on his position. Now he's being held. Now his time is up in the round. Bubble deals a final headshot, and Fiend will be walking away with a 5th. That is only the half buy, though, from MIBR. They're not expecting to win that. Again, the goal of these type of rounds is to keep the money low so you can snap it into within your AK-47 buys. Now is the time for MIBR to start doing that. They need to start putting this round together and keep Fiend on the ropes, or Fiend will just, the pressure will lift off, and they can just be in cruise control throughout the game.
Absolutely. Grenade goes in. Oh, that's unfortunate. Gets caught in the doorway. So no damage done from the get-go on that HE. SHC, they get naded up to about half health. Nothing substantial going on right now across the map. Again, it's still early doors. It's still very much slim pickings as MIBR try and wind the first frag. Dreamer throwing this smoke. It's become more and more in regulation to use this. That, you know, it's a bottom con smoke, but the problem is you've got to have a bottom con player to support it, and Bubble's been absolutely sniped down by these rifles through the wall, just traced back through. Cello going aggressive, and unfortunately Dreamer reads into that play ever so nicely. A 4v4 now, and again, no response from MIBR to try and keep that man advantage.
Dreamer, though, still posted. Still ready to go. He's tucked away now. Depends on what timing he chooses to swing, of course. It seems like that might not ever materialize. Molotov deployed in. Dreamer under pressure, under threat. And so is the A site to go alongside it. The bomb is going to begin its creep and crawl up connector. MIBR cutting all noise. Fiend have no idea what's about to hit them upside the head. But maybe they can retort in such a fashion.
Han's position could be good. It is. He finds the first, and the thing is, Victor, will he be checked? He swings. That was the integral play. Han in for a second, though. This AWP doing God's work. A third kill by Dreamer. Bomb not tapped, or bomb not stuck. It's only tapped, and Han will secure his third. It's a 6th on the board for Fiend. No bomb plant, no money, and Fiend, I think they're going to be back on the half by. What a round by Fiend in general. MIBR stunned.
Exactly, and MIBR needed that round, because now Fiend's money begins to run away. The round count as well. A second timeout called in by MIBR. They need to stem the bleeding somehow. They're just hemorrhaging rounds at this rate. I mean, the 4-on-4, it's definitely a doable situation, but it just falls apart at the seams. Nice shooting from Harn, admittedly, to get the job done. And wow, I mean, there was a little bit of a retort. Simply Harn was too much from the ticket position. They could not flush him out. There was no Molotov to pressure him whatsoever, and he just did everything from that single part of the map.
Oh. I hear buying.
Oh.
I'm not sure if you see the same thing I do.
I hear buying. I
see
I think
Han,
he said
what looks to be about 20 feet in the air.
yeah. He's going airborne.
Yeah, he is. I don't know what's... Poor replay might have just crashed. Oh. More replays. More cool stuff. Now we're in the round. Okay, all is well. We're saved. Fiend 6-1 in front right now, unfortunately. It seems to be a little bit bugged. Okay, we're good.
There we go.
Oh, there's shots and there's a kill. My audio's delayed. I'm not sure if that's me or everyone, but we'll get that fixed in just a second. Dreamer finds the opener. Victor takes a fight, gets the kill, does get traded by Yell. Bubble going aggressive, trying to find something deep with spam still in. Grenade goes deep. Bolts might just get caught out by the Molotov at the end of the day. I think they're not going to try and press all too much. Yell goes aggressive, tries to tag up, but Bolts with a kill. Red Star with one. Dreamer another, all onto Yell in a 1v3. They know roughly where he is. And the AWP will find him. Just like that. Fiend 7-1.
It's about predicting what's about to happen when you hear the sound. Feel like we just got the reset in though. Saw that UI reset and production got things.
Woohoo! It's fixed.
Woohoo! Let's go. We're back. All right. So back into it. 7-1 for Fiend. And they're rocking with plenty of cash in the wallet, plenty of confidence in their back pocket as well. AK's back in play for MIBR. But again, you gotta win the rounds. It doesn't matter if you have guns at this rate. You gotta do whatever you can to start posting rounds up on the board. It hasn't been so for the Brazilian side. And look at this, the boost up into the ladder position. Harn even going aggressive. Are you serious? Down goes Yell. And I mean, this is just too much here from Fiend. MIBR are just giving Fiend too much space to maneuver.
That is absurd. Well and truly should not have happened. Exit on low HP as well. This is the thing, right? Is that Fiend now in this advantage, Han's so aggressive, so confident, is that that's just given his team more opportunities. He's right back towards B. X-ray off. He is going to spot the player move through underpass. They are moving away. Obviously, he's going to call that was an underpass play. It's not exactly the B push because the bomb resides towards A, and the rest of the players do as well. 55 seconds to go. Fiend, hold on, patiently wait for this play to happen, and it is going to have to be none other than Victor try and hold it down.
Again, Cello, though, the silent approach here for Fiend. Again, are they going to be ready for this? Victor's not holding for the A main play, but now the sound's being made. Now Victor's attention will be drawn. Flashbang in. Oh, and he even gets all the information. Bubble drops in from the stairs, dealing the damage. SHZ is not going to stand for much longer. And maybe MIBR, all the same. It's 8-1 for Fiend. They are just running amok here on Mirage. They're taking all the fights they want at their own discretion. It is just all Fiend in full control.
8-1, man. 8-1. Would you have expected something like this? I don't believe so. And at the end of it all, it is going to be now the half buy for MIBR. They're going to try something towards B. And we were talking about this, you know, it swings and roundabouts, this whole situation. Fiend look very strong on Mirage. It's one of the maps, like their best map, I think we were talking about in the pre-game. You know, that realistically, you shouldn't be picking this map into them. Unless if you are, you know, better in the rankings, I would argue. And in that same situation, maybe, you know, more confident on the map than Fiend, then I think that's the only way you do it. You know, if you're a tier 1 team, it's understandable. But if you're anywhere in the Fiend circuit picking Mirage, you best have something special planned, and MIBR learning this firsthand. Red Star trying to go for a little bit of a util play. Well, has found 2 kills, finally gets taken down. Dreamer, oh, it's very, very messy. In fact, loses his life for it. A 3v3 and an AK picked up, but at the end of it all, it's looking quite good here because still the rifle's at hand.
Yeah, still a doable 3-on-3. In fact, Cello can run a bit of distraction here, but how much longer will that distraction last? Victor's going to uncover the whole ruse. Oh, and Yell even makes the sound cues. Bubble has just heard Yell pick up the bomb as well. Running away. maybe faking footsteps back towards the A site. And actually, Fiend are budging just a bit. They're giving gaps in the defense. You can see Harn rotating off. And MIBR might have just been given an avenue into the site. They have bit down on the bait. It's only Bubble here. He is watching the apartments, though. But if... Oh, he turns away. The timing. Oh, the timing. They dropped up onto the site. He doesn't know until he finds out. Yell doesn't check. And now the time is getting very low. Exit into 1 versus 3.
Well, does get the bomb down, but no chance, no space, no time. It is a 9th on the board for Fiend. I'm very, very impressed by this side. Again, I mean, we were talking about this. We were kind of like, okay, I mean, understandable that maybe MIBR has something planned. But again, I think even if they had one of the best strategies heading into this matchup, you're going to have a hard time against Fiend. We were talking about this, you know, 20 maps when this team was first built, when they were Mbappe peak. 20 games they played on Mirage, and they lost 1 of them. And I don't think people understand how hard that is to uphold in a scene that Fiend is currently swarmed in. You know, you've got very, very good teams you're playing against at the time. You know, it wasn't exactly easy games. Spirit, Endpoint, Sangal, Entropic, one of the names. Endpoint again, Grond, Spirit Academy, Skade, Fnatic. All names in that 19-1 streak they had on Mirage that they beat. So you know that this team should not be messed with. And I mean, in recent times, I can kind of understand, you know, maybe not the best of results, maybe not holding the same statistics, but it is still the same team, the same lineup, and the same opportunities. And in round 11, Fiend are looking for double digits.
At times, I feel like this team has been found out. I do harken back to an interview given by Alexi B, and he's talked about, like, experienced players can get a read into Fiend because they still play a very telegraphed play style that dates back so very long. It's funny how Alexi B phrased it because he's using stuff from 2018 versus Fiend, but other teams haven't quite found out Fiend just yet, and so, well, they have been fiending. How about it? All right, MIBR finally starting something off. A frag onto Bubble out from Bolt, and that'll prompt this A-side execute.
Well, Harn's still on the site, though, and we know this man can really cause some havoc. But down below is Yell, and he'll find the kill. 5v3 now,
Dreamer.
at least leveled out slightly. Or is it? Because another kill by Red Star. Dreamer with another. And even when the man advantage is obtained, even when there's a chance in the round for MIBR to convert, it's left in a 1-on-2. Bolts has got to fetch the bomb. He's got to find the plant, and he's got no life to do so. Victor Tessera is held off. Fiend 10, MIBR 1. And we were saying, you know, maybe, just maybe, that was the chance. That was the opportunity for Fiend to lose out on a second, and they clap back in great style. And I mean, look at the odds already. We're yet to even see 15 rounds of Counter-Strike, and Pinnacle more or less have wrapped up this game and said you're getting basically, you know, not even a 1.1 back on your bet if you're going on the Fiend side of things, which is, I mean, understandable. Harn 4-0 in duels against Exit. I think that man is positive in duels against everyone. I wouldn't.
I'm pretty sure about that as well.
The man is on a tear right now, and there you go, 3-1 in against SHZ. I'm so impressed by the performance, and a double nade to get things off into round 12. Yell down to 20 HP. This is so intelligent.
This is just cruise control right now from Fiend. They're playing their Counter-Strike the way they want it. MIBR are not putting pressure on them whatsoever. Not in the fragging department. I mean, it felt like in that 2-on-4, or was that even a 2-on-5 on that A site? I can't quite remember. Anyways, it was a very large man deficit that Dreamer and Victor pulled together all on their lonesome. It was Red Star as well. 3-on-5 situations. They all drew back. But, I mean, it feels like Fiend have been in control even when they're in the man disadvantage. They've had all the positioning. They know exactly what's happening in front of them. And MIBR have yet to figure anything out. And again, this would be a very important series for MIBR to take. It would just it would at least say that their Europe experience has been at least a moderate success. Making yourself to playoffs is at least something on a good note. They still have time to turn this one around, but maybe this isn't the round to do it. Round 12 already starting off with a bit of a hitch.
Harn again finding the opener onto Yell, peeking forward. And Bolts has walked into the same guillotine. Red Star to fall. The B side maybe a little more compromised. Dreamer to try and clean up on that and, you know, cleanse the B site of T players. He has found another kill. That is so cheeky from Hahn. Oh, missed the no-scope. I thought he'd have had it. That would have been a clip and a half. I'd have seen you on the front page of Reddit for that one. But at the end of the day, SHZ, his life and his kills are short-lived. A triple for him. Remarkable stuff. But again, it's a team game, team effort. And MIBR most certainly aren't bringing the same levels as Fiend are this game.
Yeah, I mean, MIBR are playing their usual style. Very individualistic, placing a bunch of players all spread out across the map and just putting them in a spot to win their duels. But right now, that is just most certainly not happening. And Fiend have all their bases covered. They have no gaps in their defense that MIBR can exploit. Every single time MIBR try to make it an aggressive play, it just gets blown up instantly. There's no chance every time MIBR try to make a play. But again, another timeout called in to try and at least keep themselves back into it. Oh, Exit is very close to his monitor.
What a face cam.
Yeah, forehead cam and monitor cam right there, not
like
exit cam.
The ROPS camera, you know?
Yeah, the ROPS cam. Oh my gosh.
In Cologne. That was funny.
That was funny. Watching BNB lose was not funny. Anyways, all right, different game, different day. Far and away though, it's Fiend we have to talk about here. It's Dreamer up on the catwalk ready to receive them, but finally a flashbang to assist them, and the push is in, and the frags are in as well. MIBR showing a sign of life, but there's Red Star towards the back of the site. He can deal the damage, the taps, the headshots, the burst, the spray, but it cannot connect, it cannot finish the job. And actually, Yell here on the lurk has thrown Victor in for a ringer. The 1 versus 3 made 2.
He can do it though, he definitely can. Pressuring on forward, 12 bullets left in his magazine. Got to find the kills, and SHC on the angle. Finally, MIBR respond with a banger, and it is on the half buy of all things considered. You know, it wasn't exactly a light investment at all into this round. Maybe a bit of life, but again, the money on the CT side, that's something I wanted to address, right, is the fact that even though, yeah, you won, what, 8 rounds in a row, it's still not enough. You know, like, look at the money into this round. If Fiend lose or win with some serious casualties, you know, your buy in the last isn't going to be good enough. It isn't going to supply a decent enough level of firepower. So they've really got to be careful in their approach here. Victor, some serious damage to get-go. Even more damage extends to exit, but not quite a conversion just yet. Bubble doing the same. The Molly's doing even more. Hahn's got to be careful. There's a player up close. This round is bonkers fight. But at the end of it all, Red Star will fall for only 1. Dreamer and Hahn in a 2v4.
It seems like MIBR are thriving in the chaos of this round right now. In the 2-on-4, but as long as that bomb hasn't been set down, there's a chance, but quickly dwindles away, and Hahn cannot connect. He's being closed in on SHC. He should have him dead twice. No way Hahn gets a second, and yeah, that will stay that. 11-3, though. I mean, MIBR putting some rounds together, but is it too little too late? Many should think so. 11-3 is a very daunting scoreline. 11-4 looking likely, though, considering the buy. The money has finally run out for Fiend. So, I mean, 11-4 half. It's not great, but it's something for MIBR to work with. And if they want to put together a nice CT side to make this one doable, they sure as hell can. We'll have to see, though. Again, cannot deny that Fiend can still win this round. But, again, I'm just playing the percentages here. 11-4, still a very real possibility.
No doubt. No doubt at all. But I'm wondering at this point in time, you know, even if they go 11-4 and a half, what is required of a comeback? I think it was Zonic in an interview said, you know, 11-4 is the most underrated scoreline. You know, you
Dangerous.
think it's very... Yeah, exactly. You think it's like all over, it's 5 rounds, but what, you win the pistol, you win the buy. That's 5-6 rounds to your name already. So I can kind of understand his point. So Fiend, I mean, they're more than happy to concede this one. They knew heading into this round it wasn't exactly going to be a walk in the park. Dreamer finds a very nice shot at the end of it all, but I think it's going to be very short-lived as he scoops up the AK and then walks right into the guillotine of SHZ. End of the half, it is 11-4. If Fiend win the pistol, this game is over, but there is light at the end of the tunnel from MIBR, no matter the distance.
Right, and again, MIBR are a real momentum-based team. If you get a little bit of wind to their sails, it's magnified by such a degree. So, again, you cannot write them off. They get a few rounds in their favor. Could always start running this one up. Already, though, a timeout called in from Fiend. Ooh, I think we're giving a look in the camera. All right.
Ooh. He knew.
All right. In any case, though, halftime break. Of course, all of this is being powered by Trustly. Got to give a good shout out to our partners here, helping us. You know, if you ever need help transferring your money for your bets, you can use Trustly at pinnacle.com/odds, where you can find the latest odds for Fiend and MIBR. And just remember, sports should be fun, so only play what you can afford and to keep it safe. Our full terms and conditions apply. Of course, Trustly being sort of monetary partner, you can easily transfer your money quickly and safely with using Trustly. Honestly, it's actually a really convenient source of a real convenient service in these days. Definitely so. In any case, though, with that out of the way, let's get into the pistol round. All right? How about that? Thanks, Trustly, for helping us out, though.
Fiend double utility setup into this pistol. So I'm interested to see how this one goes. Double smoke. I'm guessing right-hand side smokes. Exactly that. We are going for a bit of an A execute. CT still open, so that can only mean for the taking. Han, really good entry pathing to find that bubble. A second USP of SHZ needs to go huge now in a 3-on-3. And again, he's getting swarmed. He's getting pressured in on. Nice shot, but Han to trade. Again, this man is unbelievably good. Bubble now in a 1v2 is going to be spotted on the CT cross. Does find a dig onto Bolts, but he is going to get overrun by Exit, and as well as that, Bolts will deal the final blow. Fiend 11, MIBR 5. Back into the game with this round, but at the same time, Fiend on the T side, the money becomes a lot more lenient.
That's correct. And it'll be very difficult to string together a comeback here. You need to get like these first couple of rounds so convincingly for MIBR, just so your money doesn't break at your first loss, right? You have to build up that bank to start a bit of a comeback, to give your side a bit of room to maneuver. And this is the round to do it in. Full eco from Fiend. They want to get the AKs out very quickly and plenty of MP9s to build up the bank. It's about holding onto your guns, though. I think more than the frags at time. MIBR might want to be a bit careful about this, but they don't care. Just going in for the swings. Eventually, Cello will fall, though. So, I mean, Fiend will claw back. Will strike back. A little bit of sting to that. But of course, I mean, if they get 2 kills, call it a job done here for Fiend. Ooh, and SAG doesn't see Red Star. The timing gets the better of him. Red Star has a couple of frags served up to him, and he'll get himself the first. There's a trade from Yell, but again, they reach that 2-kill mark. That'll do it. Leaving Harm, just walking out from underpass. Not expected to do much, but again, Retro, 2 kills. Some moderate success here going into this full gun round.
Yeah, absolutely. Heading into this one, Fiend, they are going to be looking for a bit of forgiveness. I think that this round, especially for them, is their chance to sort of get back into things. And, you know, I quote Zonic again in saying that 11-4 is the most underrated underrated scoreline of them all. You've got to consider, right, is that if they are to lose it, that is Fiend, it's 11-7. They have to take an eco, that's 11-8. Like, you win, what, this buy and the next buy, you're level. It's doable for the MIBR side. They know this. A 5-round difference isn't impossible. Let's see how things go, though. Fiend, 5 AKs. That's going to be a lot to uphold and a lot to get rid of, especially for MIBR. Molly into the open. Bolt's going to be absolutely cleaned out. They know Exit's in sight now. Wait for that Molly to extinguish. Grenade goes deep. Won't do all too much. A little bit of tag damage to Dreamer, but Red starts to chime him out. Cello will find another 3v3 on the upswing, though, Fi. We do have ourselves a post-plant scenario. Cello spotted as well. So Fiend maybe a bit advantageous in this post-plant. Han would have heard that noise, and that is a lot of information.
Yeah, that's huge. He could even consider going for the spam there. If MIBR find themselves in a man disadvantage during this post-plant, it could be devastating. It might just end the round, and already that time is beginning to tick very quickly. And there you go. Yell has given himself up to Harn, and that prompts a save. Exactly what I'm talking about. And even Fiend can continue the hunt. I talked about how they only survived with 3 players. They lost two of their guns during that eco round. And if they take these MP9 and the FAMASs away, that'll really hinder the buy into the next. This is not going to be so much a bonus round. It might have some long-term ramifications. And I think even more prevalent than that, than just the economy, is the round count. Fiend are inching closer to 16.
Yeah, exactly that. You can see that the rebuy from MIBR won't be looking too bad here. Like, you know, we will see a couple of M4s. The FAMASs predominantly exit, probably opt in for a Deagle, maybe for the chance as well. And there you go. He's going to get dropped across a Deagle from Bolt. At the end of it all, though, like, Fiend are 4 rounds away from winning this. MIBR need to double their round count to meet that of the Bulgarians. So, a long road ahead of them, no doubt about it. And this round needs to be the round to win. One already in towards the ladder room. Very risky aggression from Cello, but it does pay off. Because now in this 5v5 situation, you know, you have that deep control towards short. You have that knowledge of the jump boost towards jungle, which Bubble will be executing now. I'm wondering, is this smoke going to give him any timing? Is he going to wait for it? That smoke's going to pull him across as well. If anyone's in there, I mean, Bubble could really go for this, because why would you anticipate someone to be pushing through the ladder room when there's a smoke deep on short? Cello still occupied with it, and now this is where this beat comes in.
Ooh, but the Deagles exit doubles up from underneath the window and finds 2 frags. He's even going to get himself a 3rd kill as they try to crunch in on him, and his teammates has his back. Now leaving Bubble in the 1v4, and he looking like he's just going to concede it. Knife out, AK back in hand. Yes. One way or the other, though, Bubble is out of this. And MIBR pull a huge one out of the hat. Exit triples up from what is normally considered a one-and-done situation. He gets 2. He eliminates the cat push on his lonesome. And it'll take a big play like that from MIBR to set some wind back in the sails and get some momentum rolling. And if anyone knows anything about Brazilian Counter-Strike and their players, it is a very momentum-based game. A play like that could definitely set things into motion.
Absolutely that. 1-on-4, 10 seconds left. You just got to save the rifle. You know, there's no point running in and dying, because you're not going to be able to get the buy in the next that you want to anyway. So having this extra capability as such, I think, is the easiest way of putting it. I mean, you could see the buy here. Han might go for a glass cannon or at least AWP half armor, but definitely will invest in this round. And there you go, AWP half armor. And everyone else, actually, surprisingly enough, has the money. I mean, Red Star might go for a Mac 10, which would lean more towards probably an A rush or a B rush than anything, but he opts for a Deagle instead. And a timeout on top of it. I love the play from Fiend here to, you know, even when they are in front, slam on the brakes, go, you know what, let's take a breather, let's take 30 seconds to pause, talk things through, get things right. Fiend want this map, they know that this is in sight now, so it's just about talking things through. But MIBR using it for the exact same appeal, you know, getting that 30-second breather, talking about what's going right and wrong, and making adjustments is exactly what they need to do to continue their predominant streak, to at least help themselves to get level.
Right. Exactly. And again, that round is the one to do it. That'll also be a boost to the economy. Surviving with 4 players is definitely a huge help. Towards the end of it, you might be able to buy up an op for Yell. We can get a little bit of a look in at that. For now, it seems like we're back live. Freeze time ticking down to 0. And as the curtains are lifted, plenty of AKs brought out for MIBR. No op. And Harn has his. Harn's boosted up as well on top of Victor. Not going to see anything, though. But it seems like Fiend... all the aggression. Look at the X's on the minimap. MIBR not content with holding their ground. They want to take the fight to Fiend. And Fiend, oh boy, they sure are ready to fight. 1 versus 5. And I wanted to bring the statistic into play that was showed in the previous round. Fiend have only had 10 opening kills this game in 21 rounds. That means MIBR are actually leading in the opening kill statistics, but they're down 13-7, which is just simply amazing in my eyes.
Wow.
And yeah, right now
say.
we're just delaying the inevitable. The only way Volt wins this round is that if they forget to plant the bomb. And then well, Retro, we make the front page of Reddit, so doesn't seem like that's gonna happen though, unfortunately.
Not looking good. Not looking good at all. Bolts 1-on-5. It's not looking grand whatsoever, is it? For Bolts, I think we're just sort of rambling on. In this situation, it's kind of like, what do you do? What do you do? If you're Bolts, I mean, saving the armor's good, but again, I was talking about this at the start of this round, is that you don't need just round saves. You don't need to save, you don't need to do this, you don't need to do that. You need rounds. Doing this exact thing that they're doing now, which is like palace aggression and ramp aggression, which I do appreciate, it's just not working out for them. I think they need to play simple Counter-Strike, play for the holds, not facilitate the Fiend pushes and allow for them to find the 5v4s. You've got to work for that 5v4 for yourself and not give Fiend the opportunity to close it out. We're not even done with the first map. And I mean, 1.095 odds over at Pinnacle, looking very juicy here for Fiend in this series, and it seems to be they're going to take the 2-0 sweep as I expected. We were talking about this, you know, we were both saying, you know, if MIBR put up a fight, if they do something on Mirage, it could go to a 3-mapper, but most certainly they haven't, and I think this is showing now, because Fiend, they are looking like one hell of a team to face.
Yeah. Inferno hasn't looked like a terrible map for MIBR, I will say. I mean, again, we look at the overtime appearance versus Spirit as a big tell of what their reset form on it is. But this is not the MIBR we want to see here on Mirage. We wanted to see more gusto out of them, some more initiative. Bolt's looking to do some damage, though. Actually, a little bit of a crossfire here. Bolts will have Bubble looking the wrong way, and a second headshot as well on a Victor, putting some flair into this round. Now, Fiend kind of have to go for a desperation push towards B. Mid control retained here by MIBR, but will they be able to rotate to the site back in time is the question.
Well, you've got one holder of Yell, and I think he has spotted someone. And here we go, the rotates are in, the pincer plays out, Red Star's jumped right forward. Bearing in mind he has the bomb, he can't, you know, run forward and get this kill. He has to be smart with the play. The flank plays short, pushes in, there you go, first kill. 3v3, he's still got the bomb, he realizes now, okay, I should probably set this one down. Holding behind his Harn, but missed shot, missed chance. Red Star to trade, 2v2 situation now. The USP and a very low HP AK. That nade has done tremendous work, and I think it's safe to say this one waved off in favor of Fiend once again. No doubt they are going to go for this one. Cello going to pick up the AK, switch over the weapon, and give this one a go. AWP picked up as well on exit, so not all bad. But they are going to hear the AWP as well. They won't have heard the gun drop, so that'll be indicative of 2 players. Dreamer finds 1, exit gone, Cello last man standing. And yeah, reading into this one, back and forth, Dreamer to find the kill. It is 15-7. Fiend, 1 round away from taking this first map, which is, bear in mind, MIBR's a pick.
Yeah, MIBR definitely poked a grizzly bear with this one. This map pick not panning out in their favor. It is, I mean, statistically their best map, I feel. I mean, barring Overpass, which they didn't want to pick into Fiend. It seems like they were more comfortable with Mirage. But boy, did they just awaken Fiend. I mean, Fiend were born. They came out of the womb playing Mirage, all right? So, they're in their home turf. There's no issue here. They're unfazed that MIBR picked this map. And so, leading 15-7, this is looking to be all for Fiend. They can just close it out in this round and send us straight to Inferno.
Be careful though, that mid pressure from Cello, it's a very unexpected angle, very, very unexpected. I'm not sure Bubble will anticipate this. Smoke towards window. He's going to peek up, obviously, towards Con. Notice no one's there. And, oh, surprise, there you go. Off-angle connects. Red Star now trying to peek the angle, trying to play the peek. And Cello extends his advantage. Doubles down, 3v5. Don't count them out of this one just yet. But as I say that, another kill goes their way. And all of a sudden, 2v4. That is this round all said and done. Unless Harn can pull in Harn fashion a ridiculous round, I think this one's gone. He's already been taken down. Victor on a 1-on-4. Good for 1, but 37 points of health most certainly won't be his forte.
Yeah, also 40 seconds left on the clock. He can't just, like, wait and hope that the rotations spread out and the CTs thin their defense. Only 30 seconds remaining. I think he's actually keen on the save here. The low HP, of course, getting the better of him. And a hold on to the op. So, I mean, not a bad round from MIBR whatsoever. I feel like Fiend just not quite playing their usual Counter-Strike, the forward positioning from MIBR. Works out, and Cello finally finds some impact. Good to see here on the tail end of Mirage. They're going to need to translate more of these rounds for Inferno, though. Or maybe a couple extra here. Who knows? Who knows how long MIBR can keep us here in Mirage? But for now, we'll be waiting a little bit longer. MIBR up to 8. Looking to make that scoreline a little bit prettier. try to cap it off with at least some confidence. Timeout called in from Fiend, though. They want to get this one over and done with as soon as humanly possible.
Don't blame them. Definitely want to try their luck at it. And let's see here how things go. Well,
holy.
I think that graph says everything, doesn't it? I think we can just sit in silence and admire. But, yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that the next round, if Fiend win, they will have 100% chance of winning this one. Don't doubt that at all. It's just the fact that MIBR 1% chance of winning
if
this
they
one.
If they lose, they're down to a 99% chance, Retro. Oh dear.
Oh no.
Better hope that you don't lose this one if you're Fiend. Still, alright, but anyways. The bookies, the model says that this one is all said and done. But comebacks have happened like this before. I shall not lie. If there's a chance, there's a chance. So, we'll see, though. Encroaching forward, the setup doesn't look like it's ready to deal with this type of A play, though. SHZ, gonna be tested. Backs off towards Ticket. Ready to receive the execute, but instead he'll receive a bullet from Harn. Not go down just yet, but he's trapped out towards the Ticket position. A molly can get thrown his way and burn him out of position. He does have a smoke to extinguish, but again, SHZ is just stuck. He will deploy a smoke. He will extinguish that, but in the meantime, oh, the wall bangs just come in. No chance for SHZ. The bomb goes down. It's a 4-on-5 situation, and everyone from MIBR are locked out of their own bomb site.
Yeah, this is going to be really hard to retake. MIBR got to take it kill by kill, but again, you've got to look this crossfire, right? If anyone swings the bubble position, Dreamer's there to assist. If Dreamer goes down, Bubble's there to help. And there you go. Beautiful stuff. 5v2, Yell and Cello have to do everything right now. A kill goes their way, but Yell alone. Isolated, decimated, and removed. Fiend, ice in their veins. It's a quick win from them. It's first map in the bag. They're looking good. They're looking strong. Map 2 up next, though. That was MIBR's map pick, so Fiend, one more step to success here in this best of 3. It is their pick. It is their chance. And MIBR's only shot at survival in Pinnacle Cup 2. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Our second map of the series, Fiend's map pick of Inferno, as we kick things off on the T side for the Bulgarians. MIBR, their last stab at success here in the Swiss stage, lies within this best of 3, and a reverse sweep required to get them there. I'm Retro, joined by Phi, and we jump through the action. Bolts kicking us off with a lovely first, and Red Star to trade in true Fiend fashion.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, the team play already showing from Fiend. Again, this is their map pick. It's MIBR's weak point in their map pool, and kind of getting blown out on Mirage doesn't bode well. But looking at the script here in the pistol, take a small advantage for themselves, at least trying to get some confidence back in. Right now, Fiend pressuring so many sides of the map, and you look at the mini-map, it jostles the rotations. They fall back from the arch position, and it leaves a gap in the defense for Fiend to exploit. And Bubble even still sticking around. That smoke isn't going to fool anybody, though. Cello's playing far forward, getting the information for his squad. So now there can be a three-man site exit, or rather, what am I saying? Three-man site setup here, and a 3-man or 4-man site execute for Fiend. Let's go. Into the crossfire, into the battles we go. An exit will be opening up with the first frag of the execute, and SHZ holding the crossfire strong, but Bubble Domes 2 on the way in, but will be quelled, leaving Harn for the 1v2.
If there's a man to do it, it would be him, though.
Oh!
Well, as quick as I say that, Cello catches him over the top of the smoke. Beautiful stuff. MIBR take the pistol. Good start from them. Kit used, defuse in. But a bomb plant. That's what you've got to be careful for here, because Fiend definitely will be more than happy to jump on the force buy, you know, getting the, what, half the buy there, I would argue, you know, your Gilils, your armor, your utility, maybe not great amounts of it, but enough to sort of support yourself. Heading into round 2, Fiend definitely aren't going to go down without a fight.
Yeah, of course, they want to keep the pressure on MIBR. They got the bomb plant, so that can facilitate such a buy. They're investing primarily into the utility as well, which will allow for some sort of set play if they get into position to throw one, of course. MIBR holding this nice little crossfire setup towards top of middle, and it's going to net result. Yelled it, drops bubble. Galil on the ground, picked back up. Oh, and the setup gets dismantled, though. Now exits, just gets one dig by Victor, and welcome to your free A-bomb site. You got your real estate. You stole it from MIBR, but for good reason. They're proving themselves why this is their map pick.
What a round. An unexpected start from MIBR on the pistol, but quickly fizzled out by the overwhelming aggression of Fiend. And they're not done just yet. A bit too careless there from Dreamer. Does lose his life for it. Nice from Red Star. And now it's Bolts in a 1v3. Not going to happen. Does pick up the M4. Is looking to try and save it. But at the end of the day, I think even if he does, the buy around it is going to be nothing but dreadful. So they're more than happy to do this. You know, double M4 save for Fiend. That is a smile on their face. And I mean, that shot from Victor, the short push shot, wow, wow, wow. MIBR leveled out by Fiend's aggressive A-play.
Fantastic. Just absolutely lovely from Fiend. The doubled eagle entry from Victor. Doing the damage, and those odds just get hydraulic pressing MIBR to the brink. To infinity it might go. But MIBR can slow it down. And so will the game. Technical pause being rung on in. Quick opportunity to give a shout out to our sponsors at Pinnacle Odds. Of course, they can go ahead and you can head over to pinnacle.com/odds if you know your stuff. And go ahead and get the latest odds here on Fiend versus MIBR. Of course, when you bet 10 euros, you get 10 euros using the promotional code in Cup 21. Remember, you should always be betting in a fun and safe environment. Only bet what you can afford, and full terms and conditions apply. Technical pause being called on in. Just waiting for a bit of information before we get back into game. Perhaps a player reconnecting, perhaps a frame issue. I mean, there's a world of difference. So we'll see. Bolt's having a problem. PC problems. Hopefully it doesn't keep us locked in for too long, though. Of course, I mean, just talking about the game, Fiend winning the force buy is already a huge setback for MIBR. That's what I will say.
Well, round reset. Ready to go. Let's see how things go. I mean, this is interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really, really interesting in that I think MIBR now really needs sort of a bit of a jump at it, right?
Yeah.
And they need something to edge them on again. This is the force buy. This is, you know, their chance to get back into things. We've got to see something really, really happen now. You know, a spark of some sort. And, well, Bubble takes the first kill. Cello gone. 4v5 situation. Now 5v3.
Mm-hmm.
As MIBR just get plowed through on the B site.
Yeah, that's not a convincing sight for anything from MIBR. They're just caught out in the middle of the open, and once those mollies fade, Fiend just 5-maned into them, and there's nothing really slowing them down at all. Bomb plant, round done. Just put a bow in this one, stick a fork in it. Isn't much to talk about here in round number 3. But I mean, MIBR will be able to save some of their armor, and that loss bonus could afford them FAMASs, perhaps, but all things being considered, MIBR are being beat back, and I mean, an eco is likely in the next round. Fiend can start running up a scoreline very quickly to start off Inferno, and that is it's quite a monumental task. Is going to be at hand for MIBR to overcome. I mean, this is your opponent's map pick. The odds are already stacked against you, and then they get off to the right start. You have to battle back in real gun rounds. You have to put together composed rounds versus Fiend, and that is a difficult task, to be sure. Round number 4, likely to be the full eco here. MIBR will be working with what they have. Not to say that what they have is all that negligible, though. They have proven that they can deal damage with the Deagle. Exit had a nice little 3-piece on Mirage. We'll have to go again. You can see this replay quickly in from Bubble. Nice 2-piece, quickly done here on this B site. And so we're back into the action. Let's see what MIBR have cooked up for this eco round. A little bit of a B site stack seems to be the motion.
Well, that's where we're at right now. MIBR pulling the quad stack. I mean, we do have Exit out of out of harm's way towards the A site, but Fiend going for the B presence play. Good flashbang over the top to get things going. Still really hesitant on this play, and I like that, trying to be cautious with it. Bubble not checking his angles. Han will catch him out on the molly. SHZ just runs right into it while blind, and that'll take him down. Side swipes by the utility, 100 HP claimed, and a 3v4 post-plant scenario again. Good damage done on the upswing, but MIBR just failing to convert in the long run.
Yeah, of course. It's the eco, though. A little bit comical the way SHZ goes down. He goes 100 to 0 from the molly, so not sure what to think about that. 3-on-4 situation, not all that much to be remarked about in this one. Fiend can go ahead and just make sure their guns stay close to themselves, and Fiend can't get their paws on anything. And that doesn't look likely with the bomb getting very close to detonating. I'm actually not even sure that Church player will survive. He doesn't have any armor. That is bolts. He'll emerge forward, see what he can find. But unfortunately, there is nothing. He can try and defuse the bomb. Try as he might, he knows his time is up. And a 3rd round for Fiend. But with that one out of the way, we actually have a game of CS to be played. The bye back in for MIBR. We have the M4s brought into play. No op for Yell. In fact, I don't think I've seen an op on Yell this entire series. That's just how the state of affairs has been for MIBR. But for this one, it will be the M4s out. See what they can bring to the table in this first gun round for themselves. And already, Fiend taking the brunt of the nade damage.
Well, let's see how things go. Again, harsh aggression. Yell finds the opener. Victor does trade. That's promising, I guess, but it's silver linings to the round. We've still got to find that success out towards A. The pincer play is in, though. That's the worrying factor. Oh, Exit will find one more, and if you're a Fiend fan right now, it's gritted. Teasel round. Dreamer finally finds the outlier on the A site, the rat amongst them. And it's a 3v3 post-plant. Bolts, low HP, and I think this is probably your best case scenario is to save. I think early doors MIBR can afford to do so, but we can't see a lot of it. And I think at this point, saving the M4, the FAMAS, and an AK, that's promising. But with the FAMAS gone in a 2v3, I think that's cutthroat, round gone, done, dusted. MIBR can see the 4th. Yeah,
4-1 now. MIBR will have to save. I'm just waiting for them to bring out the AWP and try and find some impact, but that was a pretty limp sight hold. Not really much strength, not much structure behind it, holding it up. Exit tried to put up some resistance on the site, but could only hold his hand up to the inevitable. The inevitable 4th for Fiend. The money starting to pile up for the T side as well. Over 10 grand for 3 players. Victor on 9 as well. Bubble a small outlier, but nevertheless, it is already a crushing advantage. Only 5 rounds into it. Now in round number 6. Half bind being brought in for MIBR, and I need to see a more convincing round than just a pistol. Because that one wasn't all that. That was their gun round. That was the M4s. So again, I'm still waiting for the op to come out to really say anything here for MIBR. But this type of round in play should be a given for Fiend, unless someone wants to turn up huge. Cello playing Very close to the flames. Getting a little bit toasty. Not quite getting burned, though. But he will get that info. They know what's coming towards this A site, but can they rotate players in time? Can they get the frags? How about that? SHC through the smoke on the bubble, and Victor, well, cleans up the site. So maybe that frag wasn't all for anything. Victor, again, doing God's work here on the A site, but there's SHC with the triple deagle from out of thin air, and Bolts brings it back for Red Star. Alrighty, MIBR.
Jesus.
This is what you got.
That is unreal. What a round. What a play. I'm gobsmacked. That is unbelievable. Wow from SHZ. That is a round of applause for that, man. You know, that is a ridiculous round to pull something out the hat on. And, of course, we're going to replay Powered by Trusty for this one. And, of course, Victor, great entry. And I thought, that's it. This is, you know, where they cave in. A second from Victor. And even then, 1, 2, 3. Good night, Fiend. Ridiculous. Unreal. MIBR, they secured themselves a second, and the bye basically torn away from them. But on top of that as well, Fiend have their own. If they can win this one, everything's like basically torn right back off their hands. That's the only problem. So yeah. MIBR, their ruling might be short-lived. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to see. Again, it is most definitely a nice little duel setup, by the way. Yellow's been consistently beating back bubble. But in any case, MIBR, that could be the momentum shifting in their favor, and opt back out in the hands for Yell. It definitely helped the war effort. That Torstop Banana being layering down the pressure, nade by nade. Actually, 4 players stacked up here by MIBR. Now one of them will begin to rotate. Still 3 remaining. They'll start to file back in towards the A side, but look at how much utility MIBR have expended just to take banana control. Look, those utility belts are looking mighty dry. Can they hold off an A side execute now? It's Yell's op as well as exit. SHC is here to join the party, though. Fiend might have waited a little too long to pull the trigger. Could be desperate scenes here. I'm looking even a 4th player rotated in. But Fiend, maybe the A site is their not their target. They have options, but those options not quite presenting themselves. They want A, they want it now. They get the frags to do it as well. Bubble and Dreamer bringing it together. SHC gets wrapped upon, and Bolts smoked out at the library. It is a flawless execute from Fiend. Wonderfully done. 5-2 now. Cello just has nothing to do but save.
Seems like MIBR have nothing left in their tank already. Like, back-to-back A executes for Fiend. They brush up on the mistakes, and they just send it right back at it. You know, that 30-second breather, it proves why timeouts are so useful in these situations. It isn't just like, you know, let's just chill out or let's talk strategy. It's a mental reset, you know. A break in the repeated pattern of playing, and that gives you enough time to refocus, to think things through, and that's exactly where it happens. Fiend with a 5th. I'm unbelievably shocked at how well they're doing right now. Yeah. My question is, in the future, what's going to go down for the MIBR side in future? You know, like, what have we got going for them? We've got money in this round. Cello could even buy an AWP if he really wished to, but I think an M4 would be more appropriate. Never mind goes for the AWP for Yell. But at the end of the day, right, this buy is good, but at the back pocket, nothing. Absolutely nothing. They've got to be careful.
Definitely so, and Fiend, they don't really have much risk in this round. They're still standing on another buy. Maybe in the loss bonus can assist in bringing in more, so there's no real ramifications for this round for Fiend. They can go easy does it in this one. Bubble going easy does it through the flames, though. But again, it's this early banana control is drawing out so much utility from MIBR's back pocket. There's only 2 smokes remaining about 20 seconds into the round. They're going to have difficult, as this time begins to burn, holding off an execute.
My oh my. Let's have a look. How things go. Yell takes oppression. Doesn't quite extend for a kill, but still dips his toes in the water to get the information. Still looking for something. And well, things are advancing, but ever so slowly. Really taking their time. Smoke goes out. Exit now required in opponents. Needs to find the kills. The wrap's already happening. Dreamer could go up close. It doesn't matter if he goes down because the wrap's already in. Dreamer does fall. Exit to take the gun, but a 4v3 left in isolation. Absolutely nothing left in the back pocket of MIBR. And quite honestly, if they don't find a kill in the next few seconds, I think they've just got to save.
Yeah, and I think that's already the call. They don't have to even wait a few seconds here. And Yell getting picked on the arch side, I feel like it's a bit of an unacceptable factor. You need to be hitting that shot. You need to be ready if you're Yell. But you're just out in the middle of the open, and you're gone. Quickly as that. Yell needed to find a kill there, but he doesn't. He goes down untraded. The site player gets isolated by the excellent utility thrown by Smoke. Thrown by Fiend, admittedly. Separated by the Smoke. Was SHZ from his teammate in Exit. And while Exit does drop Dreamer, walk away with an AK, small consolation for this deficit that is rapidly increasing. Fiend up to 6.
Let's see. Game looking comfortable for Fiend. 6-2 in front. Bottom of the barrel buy again for MIBR to try and get back into this game. It's just not looking good at all, is it? Really not looking good for them whatsoever. Heading into round number 9. MIBR. Desperation is the word I would use comfortably now. Grenades go over. Cello, mollied, naded, everything. Victor has taken similar HP levels because of this play, but with all things considered, like, MIBR need the first frag. That's where they found their success in these 5v4s, and just nothing being given to them right now.
And they're already gearing up for a bit of a Halls pop, or at least, I mean, they're making no secret that they're in control of this. Now back towards the B site, though. Hasn't quite drawn a rotation, but it doesn't matter when Harn just hits the shot. Only a dink for Bolts, and that's the nature of the M4 versus the AK. He would have won the fight if it was an AK. And look at this. Get a taste of your own medicine. Cello gets Delta headshot. AK-47 to do him in. 3 versus 5. Wave the white flag, MIBR. This one is done. Another one of these rounds just falling by the wayside so very early.
Wow.
And now Fiend begin this hunt as well. It's just devastating for MIBR. They haven't gotten a drop of momentum in their favor.
My oh my. MIBR concede a 7th. All of a sudden, this is like one of those situations where you just gotta, it's painful to just watch, right? Because there's key moments in those rounds. I would argue the Horn shot in this one was the standout moment for me. Where it's like, if MIBR had gotten that kill, it really would have changed the momentum of the round. And because they haven't, the round's gone. Out of their hands. Done, dusted. Fiend, 7-2.
They even lose all their guns. Fiend, relentless. They do not care. They do not have mercy. Heartless. 7-2. Timeout called by MIBR. They do have some cash to spend, I suppose. Exit could drop over and op feasibly. If they want Yell to use it, and they're gonna need some sort of impact. It's just been an isolated gun round and a pistol round is all MIBR have been able to muster. It's just been a bit disappointing here on Inferno, and it's a sad way for MIBR to sort of cap off their Europe travels. They came here to compete, and they had a little bit of a bright spot. They found themselves in this 2-2 game, but they matched up versus Fiend. Fiend have a dominating veto over them. I think that's a big factor going into this game, is Fiend have a massive advantage in the veto, as well as just recent form in general. And it kind of just makes for a crushing matchup. We'll see what MIBR can do in this one. Op has been dropped over to Yell from Exit. So they're making this little half-buy work, and okay, Yell will be able to at least trade. He needs to get a second here. He cannot be traded. He cannot go down to the man disadvantage. And he'll at least stay alive in the 4-on-4.
Well, let's see. Smokes are in. I'm wondering, what's going with you? What's going on with MIBR, with them in this round? You've got the AWP. That's the standout weapon, but Red Star, that is filthy, beyond belief. 4v3, Orb can't catch anything, and I think it's just one of those moments where you run away and save again. MIBR have just let this happen way too many times. Fiend are not going to let this happen. They are going to hunt for these weapons, no doubt about it. They're not going to let them save a thing. Bomb will get set down. Look, they're already exited through middle. They know. They're comfortable with it.
The confidence is just absolutely shot right now.
Absolutely.
For MIBR. Maybe back on home soil, back in Brazil, they would definitely go for a situation like this. Maybe. They'd take a look and you're wondering where that fire and flame is from the Brazilians. Where has it gone? Well, it seems like it's currently at the B site saving. Right now, well, they're going to have to try and desperately hold onto their guns, and while Cello will be able to deal some damage here from CT, Fiend are just relentless. They're going to keep throwing themselves at the issue. Harn could feasibly give up his op. But again, the money is just overflowing for Fiend. Numerous rounds they've survived with numerous players. MIBR, even in the rounds that they've lost, have posed no threat whatsoever to Fiend. And, well, Cello can't even escape with the frag. He'll get himself an AK at the least, but it's 8-2. The scoreline is quickly running away from them. They need a response in this one to try and make something do in this half on their opponent's map pick, or this series is just gone.
I would argue right now you have to get this round. There's no other way about it. This is the turnaround situation. If you can't win this round, it's gone. It's absolutely gone. MIBR, the momentum isn't there. The fight isn't there. It seems. I'm not comfortable whatsoever with it. And so let's wait and see. I don't want to rule them out of anything just yet, but I think this is the turnaround point. You don't win this round, I think you're packing your bags from Pinnacle Cup II.
That might just be the case. MIBR, what fight do they have left in them? What the thing is, the tactics from Fiend are just outplaying them. They're outpositioned at the moment. This Hall's Pop is dropping in simultaneously with the lane. They're all in sync. It's a symphony of frags here from Fiend. A 2-on-4. Just concede yet again from MIBR. This is just soul-shattering. If you are the Brazilians, you keep having to save. Nothing you do on the CT side works. This defense is just paper thin. They're just going into the shredder every single round. They just cannot. They just hold their hand up and, well, it's the steamroller just incoming. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Cello desperately trying to hold on to the AK, and he might be garnered at least that, but Dreamers dropped everybody. I know, Retro. This isn't MIBR series, is it?
Most certainly isn't.
No.
Good night. Good night, MIBR. 9-2 the scoreline. And I don't want to, I don't want to be that guy, but something's got to change in this roster now, surely. I don't want to, try and stir the pot anymore, but considering recent results, currently on a one-map win streak, but you lost to Endpoint, you've lost to Spirit, you've lost to Renegades and Young Ninjas. You beat Harvu, fair enough, but you've lost to Maus, Ago, Nip, Ningby Vikings, Iberian Family. I mean, you're winning your in-house matchups, your Sharks, your Bravos, the Haven Liberty, Black Dragons, even losing to Sharks at one point, beating Ints and Furious, which is cool, but losing to Fury as well. I think there's like too many different scenarios MIBR just aren't winning. That something needs to happen. I don't know if that's a roster change, like a movement in some sort. I couldn't put my finger on who or what, and it's not my place to sort of make that judgment, but I think it's safe to say at this point, if MIBR aren't providing the results that they should be doing at this stage, I think you've got to make a change structurally, integrally, whatever it is. Something's got to happen to this roster.
Yeah, I feel like you need sort of like a KNG figure or someone to get the team amped up, because right now they are just deflated at the moment. I mean, so many saves on Inferno, so many just rounds conceded before they even start, it seems. They need some fire, they need some flame, some of that spice that we're so used to seeing. I look to Oplano as well. Like, you look at that lineup, and they can, I mean, yeah, they're inconsistent, they're very momentum-based, but it's down to that momentum. They can win, they can take maps off of teams that they might not supposed to be. They can pull off these upset wins just based off of the fact that they just hit all the shots. So, we need someone to take charge here in MIBR. Will it be Yell, SHZ, Cello, definitely a man I know can start amping up this team, but they're missing that spirit. right now. And in this 3-on-4, they're just going to desperately try for this. But as the smoke fades, can Yell hit the flicker? Not. No, he's been spotted. Easy does it for Bubble. And that's another save. Call it off. Double digits for Fiend.
Well, 2-weapon save maybe. I think it would be granted. No one's really chasing around for them this time for Fiend. They're more than happy to just take double digits, take the weapons, move forward freely. What a game this has been. I mean, a one-sided affair at that, but you've got to consider, like, as much as we're disrespecting, or rather, you know, basically providing MIBR with no platform to stand on, it's Fiend that have been all over them. On Mirage, we knew it could have been a dodgy pick, but Fiend did really well. It was Harn the star man for me, and this map, I would argue, Bubble's been up top. You know, he is top kill on the or top of the scoreboard right now in terms of kills, but not only that, it's me extending my concern for MIBR in the way that Fiend have been playing really, really well recently, no doubt about it. And they definitely deserve to climb the rankings that little bit more, and the playoff stage of this, a big, big one at that. I mean, it's only top 2 for the prizes. You know, we're used to, on these channels for the Spring Sweet Spring events, to be, you know, like, distributed amongst the stages that you place in and the games that you win. But in this one, it's just 80 grand to first, 20k to second, third and fourth get nothing. So, you know, fight for survival, fight for the top, and Fiend most certainly, after this performance, I would not say no to them, you know, having a shout at top 8.
Definitely so. Still, though, still Counter-Strike to be played. That might be our pick up a big run. Who knows? Of course, right now, it's just, again, deflated is the notion here. Fiend are just playing the better CS. A little bit of a nice setup here. One over the shoulder of the other, and finally, some success here. Arn gonna be chambering a second, and Cello can double up. Finally, some signs of life here from MIBR in this round. Bubble wants to swing, but knows his teammates aren't quite close to him. He's actually going to post up with the op anyways. Not like this, Bubble. Do it to him. We'll deploy his smoke in an excellent flashbang. Alrighty. MIBR just pick apart Fiend in this one. 2-on-5. Time is ticking down fairly low. And Fiend don't have many options available to them. Up Arch seems to be the play.
Well, nice first shot. Dreamer to tap down 1, 4 HP. Goodbye. MIBR finally find themselves something on the board in some time. It is a third round. Fiend to take a timeout directly after. What is going wrong? Well, they're going to try and figure that one out, of course. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can't exactly scratch your head and wonder, you know, what Fiend are doing wrong. I mean, they've done an awful lot right this game, and so taking this breather, I'm not against it. I think, you know, maybe you don't really need it, I would argue, but I mean, it's there. Why not use it? I think that's the easiest way of putting it.
It's also, I think, in a way, it's there to ice out MIBR. Any success they get, they can't carry that momentum over to the next round. That was a nice little setup there. At least they're not giving up. They're still putting a bit of thought into this game. Nice little setup towards the B side of the map. Catching them off guard. Still 10-3. Still a very heavy deficit. The best MIBR can hope for is a 10-5 scoreline. Not completely undoable. Not out of the realms of possibility. Fiend still has to keep their wits about them. But in this round, they're looking to take the fight straight to MIBR, or MIBR straight to them. Down middle is Bolt, and Harn is not ready for this at all. They're playing the trigger discipline. Oh, but he can't convert the frag. Does have the nade, though. That should finish the job. But Dreamer will trade. Bolt does scamper away with 2 frags, though.
Really important. Continuing on, though. This really has to be a big shot, a big chance. MIBR can't afford to fumble this round. They really, really can't. And let's see. 1 minute and 5 to go. Still yet to really provide pressure towards B, but they are thinking about it. Spot the man. Oh. Nice shot. It's Dreamer to find the kill. All of a sudden, man in isolation. Cello needs to go huge.
Oh, he doesn't have a smoke to extinguish it as well. He has to swing. He has to go nuclear, but all right. Lands a dink on the exit. Makes it possible. The USP shot's not connecting through the smoke for Yell. And so we are firmly in the 2-on-2, and Fiend can get themselves into very nice post plants. Dreamer has picked up the op, but he misses the shot. And now it's Bubble up for the 1 versus 2. Doable here for MIBR, but also very doable for Bubble.
Absolutely. Bubble finds one. Bomb's
Sticking.
gonna be stuck. Oh, he pulls him off it though. That flashbang's done everything. It's tapped again. Bubble, a second flash. Does catch him blind. Yell finds it. Does he have a kit? Yes, he does. And I think he just has the time. What a play from Yell. Really fortunate to catch him while blind. Bubble would be kicking himself, not because of he misplayed that or anything. It is just simply Yell pulled the trigger at the right time. And that is a 4th on the board for MIBR.
All right. So, I mean, a nice little conversion there. Only one man surviving, does go down to the wire there. But Fiend kind of just getting caught off by a little bit of the gimmick setups. Huge, by the way, from Cello. I will mention that. He gets one and gets huge damage. He gets a dink onto Dreamer. And that makes it easier for the MIBR players to equalize. But speaking of, well, no longer equal is this round. This is more of the Fiend we've been seeing all game. MIBR back down to where they started.
Well, what a start for them in a 5v3 situation. This should be, you know, near impossible to lose. Fiend not looking too good whatsoever. Really aren't looking on the mark. Flashbangs, or rather MIBR not looking on the mark. Fiend ever so strong in these situations. And again, you got to wonder, right? Like, what do Fiend need to do to win these rounds? It's maybe not a case of, I would say like, oh, you know, what are Fiend doing, or what are MIBR doing wrong? I think it's just a case of what Fiend are doing right. You know, we were saying maybe some changes required, maybe, you know, something's needed from them. But I've got to consider the fact as well. I think this is one of those situations you've got to look at it and go, MIBR, where do they go wrong in this game? I mean, there's a lot to comment on, not a lot of time to do so. Execute towards B, flashes on forward, and again, I have no clue what they want to do.
I mean, Fiend can just toy with their food here. It's a 3-on-5. There's only exit here at the site. He will blindside Red Star, but now he has to tuck and hide inside of the smoke. But he does have his teammate to back him up in SHC. Oh, but the spam is in. Bubble gets rid of exit, deals with him. 1 versus 3 for Bolt. And it's the final round of the half. He is miles away, kilometers, a marathon run from the B site to the A. Now, I mean, 1 versus 3. It ain't looking likely. 52 HP. As long as Fiend just hold the crossfire. Even that, these angles are so difficult to clear. Has been spotted. Finished off by Harn. 11-4 for Fiend. And they are just establishing dominance here on this T side. They slipped up a few rounds. This could have been even worse, Retro. Just to think about it. And look at that. 1.007 for Fiend. Just getting pressed down. Right now, MIBR on their T side. They ain't looking good. They ain't looking great. MIBR staring down the barrel.
91% chance of winning this one. That's what the Pinnacle map percentage is saying. I'm genuinely surprised to see how things go, though, for MIBR. Let's not forget, 11-4, similar scoreline, similar situation. I've just got to wonder, though, it's got to stem from the pistol. We know this. Fiend on the CT side, quad stack towards B as well. That is brutal, to say the least. And if Fiend pick up this round, I think we can say this round is well and truly done.
If they go B...
Yeah.
I mean, I think MIBR will just be losing their head. I mean... Oh, and it seems like at least there's the beginnings of a banana creep and crawl. Right now, MIBR are probing the map. Oh, but not for much longer. Dreamer! How does he thread the needle like that? Cello goes down to make it. They're going into the stack, Retro. Oh, no. Worst case scenario. 4 versus 4 on the site, but it's the T side who has to walk into uncharted territory. They even have a flash prime for this. Oh, no. But, okay, the flashbang is good. Exit will be able to best him. We're into this. Here we go, Retro.
Flashbang again. Red Star looking to pull the trigger on the play. Bubble is there to assist. Red Star falls. A 2v3. Victor still on the back of the site. Needs to get a kill.
Oh.
Bubble just jumping right over the smoke. I don't know what that was, but at the end of the day, all of a sudden, turned on its head. All down to Dreamer.
Has made
2v1.
noise.
Exactly that. Steps made. Peeking on forward. Finds the first. Oh! Dreamer. Saucy with it, my friend. Fiend on 12. And MIBR, it's a bomb plant. It's a chance, but it is 12 on the board. Ridiculous. No way MIBR should have fumbled that post plant. No way at all.
Oh, dear. It even looked... I mean, that was a great entry onto the site as well. Exit got all 4 kills there. But it just doesn't work out. It's just so crushing. This is the clutch here from Dreamer. Oh, dear. Exit cannot beat him. Can't quite hit the shot. 12-4. And not hitting the shots almost will not cut it. It certainly hasn't. 12-4 now for Fiend. There is a bomb plant. That is the one consolation for MIBR. They will be able to bring in some solid rifles into this round to try and make do. And, I mean, winning this round could spell a few extra ones for MIBR, but it's going to be a difficult, long, and winding road for a comeback to happen.
Well, I see. Fiend. Want to be careful of this mid-presence.
Oh.
1 for 1, 2 for 2. Oh, Harney's in the driver's seat now. A kill, unresponsive. Little 360, and oh, thought he was going to source on him even more. It's a kill in SHZ's name. Down to 2 HP though. Bomb in hand, not impossible because the double rotate out for